Thank you. Hello, Atlanta. It's good to be almost home. Oh, God love you. I tell you what. You know, you guys build bridges. You can't be in a better city. More bridges in this city than any city in America. Look, folks, you know, we've been through a lot together. I want to thank you for that introduction. It's over the top, but I want to tell you, if I didn't have my views about union movement, my grandfather Finnegan from Scranton would come down and kick my rear end. It's real simple. Look, folks, you know, I want to, Brent, thank you for all you've done, and Phil. And a big hello to my good friend John Fetterman. John was here. I know you had to be sitting down because if I didn't see, I get worried. I want him. If you got to be in a foxhole, man, you want this sucker with you. You want him with you. And look, Chris, where's Chris? Chris, there you go, Chris. Congratulations, Chris. Thank you very much. And you know, you've not only led the union movement, you built the middle class. You know, all kidding aside, you know, when I started saying this years ago, people looked at me like I was nuts. There used to be there was a law that was passed in the 30s, in the early 30s by Roosevelt, making it easier or fair for unions to be able to organize because of strong opposition to organized labor. But there's a provision in that law that no president really paid much attention to. And to be honest with you, I didn't realize until about 14 years ago that it existed. It not only says how they can't block unions by they still try to do unfair things. They can only block it, but this goes on to say, any money appropriated by the United States Congress, given to the president to build something or to spend it, must be spent with American labor and American products. Well, guess what? I'm the first president that said that means I mean it. That's why there's incredible growth. We've hired more people in a 4-year period than any president has in American history. And by the way, you've heard me say it 100 times. I'm going to say it 1,000 more times, as long as I have a breath. You know, Wall Street didn't build America. Middle class built America. And you built the middle class. That's a fact. You built it. That's not a joke. There would be no middle class without you. Folks, look, the fact is that my dad never went to college, but my dad was a hardworking guy. And my dad used to have an expression. He said, Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. I'm serious. Our dinner table was a place we had conversation, incidentally ate. My dad would say, Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about your place in the community. It's about how people treat you and look at you. And everybody, and he meant it, everybody determines is entitled to be treated with dignity. Well, that's what unions you've done. You've raised people's expectations. You've given them pride. You've given them a reason for being. You've changed. And all the apprenticeships. Remember how when I got elected president, business was going to help us. They were going to provide apprenticeships. Give me a break. Give me a break. Anyway, I don't want to get going here. But look, 10 days. 10 days. Now, I know I look like I'm only 40, but I'm 46. I take 66. But all kidding aside, you know, this is the most important election of our lifetime, no matter how young or old you are. Not a joke. It's not hyperbole. It's not Democrat, Republican. This is decency versus lack of decency. This is about character, this election. And folks, you know, I got to choose my words here. The choice couldn't be clear. The choice couldn't be more stark. I am a president that's pointed out by my buddy that I walked the picket line. Well, so is Kamala walked the picket line. You know, the only picket line Trump ever looks at is one he can, in fact, cross the picket line. Not walk it, cross it. Name me something he's ever done. One single thing. Name me one single thing as a private entrepreneur or as a candidate he's ever done for American labor. Name him. No, I'm being deadly earnest because this is, I mean, this even shouldn't even be close, but he wins everything you talked about. He said he wants to get rid of. Absolutely. Not one thing you talked about did he support. Not one thing, not a single thing. You know, even anyway.
We're not going to let him win.
Well, you can't let him win. By the way, look, guys, the presidential historians tell us that the most consequential thing the president can possess is character. By character, we mean that will they stand up? Will they stand up? Are they going to tell you the truth? Are they going to tell you when they disagree? And when they agree, they're going to fight for you. Character, just plain old character, like you do when we were kids. You knew the kids in the neighborhood had character and didn't have character. You knew who you could count on and couldn't count on, man or woman. Yeah, I mean, seriously, think about it. This is pretty basic stuff. It's about decency. It's about honor. And look, I'm going to just say it. And the most controversial thing I may have said. Trump has no character. He's not demonstrated it. Whether he was having the people working, you know, I mean, and I shouldn't get going. But, you know, but the thing, he doesn't give a damn about union workers or any workers for that matter. He views unions as getting in the way of the accumulation of wealth for individuals. That's what he views it as. Folks, it's in labor's interest to defeat Donald Trump more than any other race you've been in, as long as any one of you been alive. You know, I've given my heart and soul to labor my whole career as president because it wasn't hard. It's just where I was raised, who I was with, what I've seen. You know, everybody deserves a shot, man. Just a shot, no guarantee. Everybody deserves a shot. As close to a level playing field as you can make it. And the last thing we need is for Trump to get elected to take away all the things we've done. How many of you have pensions now again? How many of your families have pensions? They opposed it. I mean, just go down the list of all the things that really matter to a family, to a hardworking family. Look, you organized labor, his worst nightmare, but you're also the best thing that ever happened in the American economy. We got a lot more work to do, Kamala does. A lot more work to do. But let me tell you what, we're the envy of the world. We have the best economy in the world because of you. A lot more to do. But here's the deal, guys, from my standpoint. You fight for ordinary people like the neighborhood I grew up in, the people I grew up with in Claremont, Delaware, Scranton, Pennsylvania, Wilmington, Delaware. People who just want a shot. They're not asking for a favor, just want an even shot. And he only knows we're all about lifting people up. Think about it. I've never been this direct, but I tell you what, he's about making sure he pushes people down. He thinks the way you get ahead is push people down. But to get ahead, we were talking the way up here. You know, when I made the commitment that I'd only hire American workers and use American products. Well, I was told that and labor began to flourish, et cetera. I asked the Treasury Department to do a study. When union workers, not labor, union, when unions do better, what does it do for the rest of the economy? Everybody does better. Everybody's wages come up. Everybody. The year's worst nightmare. And like I said, you know, we worked together for a long time. And like I said, I know I don't look like I'm 40, but I've been doing this for about 500 years. And we've asked a lot of each other. But what I'm not asking of you is something that is not in your interest. I ask you one more thing. Don't do it for me. Do it for your kids. Do it for your family. Do it for your grandkids. Do it for your neighbors. Do it for people you know. People who need a helping hand. Donald Trump is a loser. He's a loser as a candidate. And more importantly, in my view, and I'm just going to say it straight up, he's a loser as a man. He's a loser as a man. We fought too hard for the gains we made. for the people we grew up with, the neighborhoods we come from. And I know who was standing next to me the last 4 years, Kamala Harris. Let me tell you something, folks. I picked her because she has a backbone like a ramrod. She doesn't bet, I'm serious. She has a backbone like a ramrod. And folks, look, as I said, I'm from Scranton, and a place where we stand up for one another in my neighborhood. So please, follow your gut. Do what's right. Do what's the right thing to do for everybody, the people you grew up with, the people you work with, the people you love. Our kids, make sure that kids have to have access to good education. This guy wants to literally do away with the Department of Education. Do away with it. We've been fighting like hell to. You know, your parents, all of you, you need health care, access to health care, affordable health care. We finally got it. We finally moved. We have more health care now than we ever had in American history. He's tried 51 times to eliminate the health care bill. 51 times. Look, you know it's the right thing to do. For the people you grew up with, the people you work with, your neighbors. And we had to give, one of the things I hope we figured out, and not all guys agreed to this initially. There's not a damn thing that I could do that my sister couldn't do as well or better. My sister's my best friend in my life. We're 3 years apart, 2 years apart in school. She graduated with honors, taking the same exact courses I had at Delaware, and I graduated. She managed every one of my campaigns. She jumps in a fight when someone's in trouble. We're taught like you guys. You see someone taking advantage of, what do? You're told to get involved, get engaged. Even when you're a kid, jump into the fight. Well, look, folks, the fact is that we're finally getting to the point where women are beginning to have a shot, a fair shot. Like I said, they can do anything any man can do, including being president of the United States of America. Look, I'm trying to be a good boy here. There's never been, in my view, a clearer choice as a student of history, someone who has known more world leaders than any living president, than any president ever has. Know them well, the good and the bad. The fact of the matter is that we know how important this election is. It's because of you, we've created more jobs than any time in history. We have made in America become what is the standard now, not the exception. Remember what corporations used to do under him? That was they'd send the job overseas to the cheapest labor they could find and then bring the product back home. Well, I went overseas and I talked with the South Koreans first about the CHIPS Act. I said, look, you guys we invented the chip. We made sure it works a little smaller than the end of his little finger. And guess what? They decided to invest $15 billion. They came back. I said, why did you come when I talked to Samsung? He said, because you're the most qualified workers in the world. You guys are not only the best in America, you're the best in the world. That's not a joke. You're the single best in the world. And I asked, why? So what? You know how much, remember where I've been criticized about how Biden was going to plan the economy too much and the government's going to be too involved? Well, guess what? We brought off the sidelines in private investment $1 trillion in investment. Remember when we got elected, we were told there's going to be a recession? No one's talking about recession on our watch. I'm serious. So, folks, look, I'm trying to be good. But look, I know how damn hard you fought for the gains we have. I know how damn hard you worked for your fellow colleagues. I know how you stuck together. And I know how you reached down to help people. You know, and I know you know that without the shot of a decent wage, without the shot of access to health care, basic health care, without the shot of being able to retire on something, to have something to look forward to, we're in trouble. Well, you're guaranteed that's not going to happen anymore in America. We got more to do. We got to make housing more affordable. We got to give people a break to start their first homes. We got to give people a break to get going. That's all in play. And if Kamala wins, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But folks, you know, the fact is that I don't think it's exaggeration. I can think of no man who has thought less of the average working person in America than this guy did it. Whether he was making sure that people worked overtime without getting paid on his gardens down in Mar-a-Lago, or whether it was when he passed, he's created the largest deficit of any president in 4 years in American history. You know what he wants to do now? He provided a $2 trillion tax cut for the super wealthy, creating a gigantic deficit. You know what he's proposing now? A $5 trillion tax cut for the same people. The leading economists in the world got together and concluded that if Trump fulfilled his request that he wants for the economy, then we'd be in recession. We'd lose thousands of jobs, millions of jobs. So you got to promise you'll tell my wife I behaved. I didn't say all that I think. But you know in your gut, man, you know in your gut how important this is. You know it. If everything we've worked for, everything you've allowed to happen, he has literally spoken out and said he's opposed to. And his new the wealthiest man in the world, now his ally, right? Well, that wealthiest man in the world turned out to be a legal worker here when he was here. Oh, I'm serious. He was supposed to be in school when he came on a student visa. He wasn't in school. He was violating the law. He's talking about all these illegals coming our way. Folks, and by the way, on that score, what we've done, even though he wouldn't allow the most important legislation to pass, which fixed the border, the problem with the border, we have fewer people crossing the border illegally now, or crossing the border, period, than any time since his third year as president of the United States. It matters. Relationships matter. And relationships with foreign leaders matter. Trust for foreign leaders matter. And we've built that trust. So anyway, guys, please, 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 go the extra step. Call the people you know who may be undecided. Tell them, please, please, give us a chance. Give labor the chance to really, really blossom in a way that has never had ever before, even in the Roosevelt years. They're changing the world. They're changing the world. And folks, we're the best country by far. We're the greatest country in the history of the world.
We're going to do everything we can to